Haikyuu Scenarios. How you first met. You were mindlessly walking towards your classroom. Hinata, on the other hand, was running away from Kageyama. He bumped into you. You looked up uninterested. You saw his bright face. You unknowingly smiled. He widely smiled back even when panting. That's how you met. You were classmates in junior high school. But you were too afraid to talk to him. You aren't even sure if he knows you exist. One day you saw him crying alone. He was because of frustration. You suddenly choked your shyness and couldn't stop yourself. You approached and consoled him. He surprisingly accepted your comfort. That's how he got to know you. You knew each other from class. You were tasked to check your classmates' attendance and papers. He kindly offered his help. That's how you got close. You suck at calculus. He, on the other hand, was a genius. You wanted to ask help from him. But he was very intimidating. However, you did ask for help despite your fear. He surprisingly agreed to help you. You are his classmate. You were kinda naughty. Sugawara, on the other hand, hates how you behave. He always scolds you. Mama mode activates outside of the court. You continue to be naughty on purpose. You are a member of Karasuno's volleyball club. You aren't the ace nor the captain. But like Hinata, you were the greatest decoy. You thought he likes Captain Mikimiya. But he already had his eyes on you since the start. When you won, he approached and congratulated you. That's your first time to talk to each other. He was punished by Daichi. He was tasked to clean the court alone. You was also tasked by the vice principal to get Daichi. You thought Daichi was on the court. When you got there, you only saw Tanaka. He looked at you with dark eyes. What do you want? He yelled at you suddenly, hoping to intimidate you. Where is Sawamura Daichi? You yelled back. He didn't expect that. You were sad. Asahi saw you and he approached you. Although, he was nervous that you'll be afraid of him. But you weren't. You found him real handsome. Are you okay? He asked. Not really. You answered. Want to go to church to pray. You were Ryu's cousin. You lived away from Miyagi and you just transferred recently. You want to greet Ryu and let him know. You were nearing the court. You suddenly heard someone shouting. Roaring Thunder! You smiled because it was cute. You went inside and you found out it was Noya. You were a fan of Ushijima. You came to Shiratorizawa. But instead of seeing Ushijima, you saw Tendo. He blushed when he saw you. You didn't know why, but you also felt your cheeks heat up. You are the ace of Shiratorizawa's women volleyball club. Normally, girls don't play against boys. But your coach insisted. It was his preparation for nationals. On practice game, you weren't able to block Ushijima's spike. You hurt your hand instead. He approached you unexpectedly. He offered to take you to the clinic personally. You go to Aoba Josai. But you weren't really a fan of Oikawa. You think those who constantly seek his attention are stupid. He's just another ordinary man. One day, you were standing outside your classroom door. You heard screams approaching. You knew it was him. You just annoyingly looked when they passed by. But he, on the other hand, looked at you, and winked. You're Oikawa's ultimate fangirl. You had eyes for Oikawa only. You visited him in Aoba Josai. But when you arrived, you saw Oikawa being hit by a ball in the head. You looked at who threw the ball. How dare he hurt Oikawa-san? But you saw that it was Iwaizumi. He was looking at you. You didn't know, but your anger faded. He and Kuru were classmates. You had a massive crush on Kuru. You decided to approach Kuru and give him a gift. But when you did, he politely declined. Kitten wouldn't like it if I accept that. He walked away after saying sorry. You were looking down. All your effort was wasted. Yaku was behind Kuru. He offered his comfort to you. You just moved into the neighborhood. There are so many things that you needed to put inside the house. It's cause the movers just dropped them outside. Suddenly, a giant shadow appeared over you. Do you need help? The man behind you spoke. You looked back and then up. We also just recently moved here. Then Lev smiled widely at you. You always watch him play volleyball. You admired him. You think he looks really cool, especially when he serves. You always come to his tournaments. At the time they lost to Karasuno, you approach him. You still congratulated him. He hugged you out of nowhere. You're someone who really likes eating. People make fun of you because of your body. But you ignored them. You were eating your favorite onigiri when bullies approached you. They tapped your hand and your onigiri fell. You did not know how to fight back. You were sad. That's a waste of great food. You thought. That was a waste of great food. Someone spoke. You looked up surprised. Someone spoke. What was exactly in your mind? You saw Osamu. Want to eat some more? I'll cook for you. You and Suna are classmates. But you don't acknowledge each other. He is a sleeping monster. You are a sleeping monster too. He sleeps in class. You do too. You're sleeping rivals. One day, your professor got fed up. You both were sent to detention together. That's how you accepted that the other does exist. You decided to treat your grandmother to the mall. You wanted her to be happy and repay her. When you arrived, the first thing your Lola wanted was massage. So you went to the vibrating chairs. After you set Lola properly, you sat down at the bench that's near. There you met Kita. He was treating his grandmother too. You were in a hurry. As you arrived at the bus stop, you clutched your pocket to check your wallet. You panicked when you did not feel it inside. But you can't miss the bus. You looked around to find a solution. Anything. Then you noticed a tall, fine man standing in the corner. He was wearing a mask. He looks kind. So okay, now or never. You approached him but he stepped back. Do I know you? What do you want? He asked. I just wanted to borrow like $1. I promise I'll repay you as long as I don't miss this bus. I have somewhere very important to go to. Please, please, please. You spoke that while walking closer to him. Fine, okay, just don't come near me. You love playing video games. Kenma obviously does too. One day, you saw him real frustrated. He was mumbling. He couldn't pass the last level. You approached him. You offered your help. Really? He asked. Yes, but on one condition. What? Be friends with me. You and him were classmates. And you always had a secret crush on him. You remembered the homework task to you. You forgot to put it in your bag. You got worried. Your professor was strict. Kuru was the genius of the room. So you asked for his help. You were Bokudo's cousin. You were the one Akashi thought Bokudo was in love with. You smiled at that. You found it amusing. You found Akashi amusing. So you went with Bokudo to meet him properly. You spent the whole day with the both of them. Bokudo is a baby. A loud and energetic one. That's what you initially thought about him. But then you got hired as Fukurodani's manager. One time, other schools' players were hitting on you. Bakuto then stood to protect you. That's when you realized he can be dependable too.